guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Dimmitt Chevrolet in sunny Clearwater, Florida. And guess what we have? We have some more Camaro goodness to bring to you. This is a 2021 Riverside Blue Chevrolet Camaro. This particular one is an LS trim, but before we get into this manual transmission, we found a manual on an LS. Let's talk about what's going on here. The Chevrolet Camaro is basically an American institution. It's been around since 1967. When I think about the Chevrolet Camaro, I think about apple pie, I think about a foot-long hot dog with a bunch of yellow mustard, Cracker Jacks, and definitely baseball. But since 1967, what makes the Camaro so special is the amount of choices that you have when buying a Camaro. And when you fast forward to 2021, you still have tons of choices, more than the Ford Mustang and definitely more than the Dodge Challenger. Now, this particular one being an LS trim means that it is a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine of a Camaro. The great news though, if you're trying to keep your budget at a certain price point, this may be the car for you. Or let's say that you're new to driving, you just got your license, you've always wanted a Camaro, but you definitely want a new car and you want to have a manual. We tracked this one down with a manual Tremec 6-speed transmission. So let's go ahead, let's dive in and find out, is this the best sports car, muscle car, whatever you want to call it? Is this the best for your hard-earned money when you're looking around $25,000 in this Chevrolet Camaro? Let's find out. Right off the bat, I love Riverside Blue, one of my favorite colors in their color palette, fits the Camaro to a T. When we start at the front of the business, the great news is whether you go 4-cylinder turbo with the LS or if you want to step it up to the V6, they have the same exact front fascia. It even has the same front fascia as the Camaro LT1 that has a V8. So you're going to get standard LED daytime running lamps. You can see that projector beam style headlight, a little bit of flat black. I like the way it extends off from that headlight housing. You do get functional corner air curtains and everything is flat black to match very nicely. We come across the center and you're going to get that open functional top grille and bottom portion of the grille. The great news is that even though we're coming in at that entryway, this is the lowest price Camaro that you could possibly get in the year 2021. Even though we're coming in at that low bracket, you're still getting that Camaro aggressive look. You have the gold bow tie there. Everything is full functional with the flat black. And as you work your way down, I love the way they extend the lower lip of the front fascia. Gives it that extra aggressive look. Now, yes, you do have some non-functional vents, which I'm not gonna zonk because this is an LS trim. Let's compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges, and definitely let's keep the Twinkies to Twinkies comparison spot on the money. Now, when we get up onto the hood, great news, you're gonna get the same awesome hood that a lot of the other Camaros share. So you're gonna have a nice rise in the center and it holds its line all the way to the windshield, gives it that great classic look. Now, when we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. Now, you can get optional 20-inch wheels and tires. This particular one, like I said, is the gateway into the Camaro family. So what you're looking at is this bright metallic silver wheel. This is an 18-inch wheel, split spoken design. The design works well with the Riverside Blue, simple and clean. Massive sidewall because of what we're working with this particular all-season radial tire setup on our particular Camaro. But you know what? Like I said, especially if you're a new driver, this is gonna help you when you get close to those curbs to where you're not gonna scuff up the wheel. Plus, with such a tall sidewall, you're gonna get a more comfortable ride as you're going down the road. 13-inch rotors up front, which is gonna give you some good braking capability. And as we come down the side, I do love the way they have the tasteful Camaro badge, red, white, and blue, those Americana colors, color matched on the mirror caps. And then you have that silhouette of the classic Camaros from the beginning in 1967. Now, remember, there was a gap of time where there was no Camaro. From 2003 to 2009, no Camaro was produced. They brought this out in 2010, and it's gone through some changes. This is sitting on the Alpha 2 chassis, so it's a little bit smaller than it was in 2010, but guess what? Having less engine is also gonna mean less weight. So this Camaro is actually gonna handle pretty well, even with the 18-inch wheels and tires. Now, as we work our way back, you do have that concept car-esque side window, very, very low, kind of makes it a little tight on the inside, but you know what? Use your mirrors, rotate your head, and you'll be able to navigate on your daily business just fine. Like the shape of the quarter window, and I've always loved on the Camaros how they flare out the rear fender very nicely. When we look at the rear tire and wheel setup, remember, this is gonna be rear wheel drive, just like any other Camaro out there. And what you're basically looking at is 245 on the width and a 50 series sidewall. So that's the exact dimensions of the tires on this particular Camaro. And then when we come out back, what's kind of nice is it's super clean. No trunklet spoiler. Love the way the roof line comes right off into the trunk. You're gonna get the red taillights, which I actually prefer over the clear ones. They did update these, remember, a couple years ago. And then we continue to work our way down. You get those beautiful trumpet style exhausts on both sides. Simple on the diffuser, but I'm not gonna zonk it on this particular Camaro because it is that entry gateway Camaro, like I said, into the family, but very, very wide, very muscle car-esque. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering our particular Camaro. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hydraulic hood struts. Underneath that hood is gonna be that starting point of engine placement. Now remember, the Mustang does have an EcoBoost, which is a 4-cylinder turbo. This is a 2-liter turbocharged engine, inline 4, 275 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. So it's not as much horsepower as a Ford Mustang EcoBoost, but remember, what this Camaro you could get a V6, which you cannot get on a Mustang anymore. But we do have a Tremec 6-speed manual transmission. You can also, of course, get an automatic. If you know how to dance on your twinkle toes, you're looking at 0 to 60, 5.3 seconds. Quarter mile is gonna go by at 14 seconds flat. The car weighs a feather light for a Camaro, 3,300 pounds. MPGs, 22 in the city, 31 on the highway. Let me put it in perspective for you. So if you're saying to yourself, that is not a sports car, that is not a muscle car, that thing is slow, let's put it in perspective. It's crazy how things have changed. If you go back to 1967, the first year of the Camaro, and you had a, say, Z28 Camaro, or even an SS, you're looking around 0 to 60 in 6.7 seconds. So this car right here, with 4 less cylinders, is gonna beat your Camaro SS from 1967. That's what the technology is bringing to the table. And I know that we all want that V8 growl, but it's great for people who maybe aren't ready for the V8, or maybe don't even want the V8, to still have that Camaro mystique, but yet you could drive your manual transmission and have some decent MPG return. But why don't we fire up this 4-banger turbo and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside this 2021 Chevrolet Camaro. I know you're at that point where there's probably a couple different people right now that are asking me a couple questions. You're saying to yourself, on one hand, Joe, I have a teenager that just got their driver's license. They've been doing well in school. I want to get them a new Camaro that they've always wanted, but there's no way in God's green earth I want them to have a V8 or even a V6. I'm liking this option. How much is it? But then there's also the other person that says, you know what? I got a Corvette in the garage, or I got a ZL1 in the garage. I need a daily driver, and I don't want to daily drive a regular car. I still want to have that Camaro name. I'm liking the MPGs, and I'm a big fan about manual. I don't care how much traffic there is. That's the other person. Well, guess what? The two of you, I'm going to knock out in one hit. MSRP, the way that this one sits, is right around $25,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panel. So up top, you are getting hard plastic in the middle. The good news is the armrest is on the softer side. It is a little small because of how much room you have on the interior. And then the door pocket, maybe 2 Twinkies. That's about it. Rest of it is all going to be hard plastic. You do have the metallic silver, but remember, anything you don't like, you could go higher trim and get that changed out very easily. When you come to the dash, I do like the way they have this simulated leather with the stitching. That makes it feel a little bit higher level. You're gonna get the same hard plastic dash as a person who spends $70,000 on a ZL1 1LE, same exact dash, this is gonna be different. So starting point for a Camaro is a 7-inch infotainment system setup. You do have, obviously, touchscreen. You do have the Wi-Fi setup, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You can get in your climate controls real easily. Let me show you the backup camera. Fills up almost the whole area. And then you're right back to home. Very easy to use. You can get an 8-inch. You just got to spend a little bit more money. But you know what? A lot of people are happy with 7 inches. And that's fine. That's okay. Everybody has their own taste. You work your way down. I do love the style of AC vents, how you adjust. This is your temperature. This is your blower fan switch over here. That really gives it a nice little extra fun feel. Slim and trim on the AC controls. You got your start stop button all the way over here. And it's like a trapezoid shape. Hard plastic, but here's where the magic happens. You're gonna get a 6-speed manual Tremec transmission. Now, is this the same Tremec as in a ZL1? No, but it is made by Tremec. They're a great brand. Nice throws, nice engagement. I can't wait to row through this gearbox when we take it for some on-throttle spin. And then, of course, you're gonna get the stitching. I do like the silver. You have 3 different modes that you could go in. Your 12-volt, located all the way back here, is a zonk. Because if you have a radar detector, you're gonna have that cord stretched all the way over here. 2 cup holders. Here is your Chevrolet key fob. So it's nice to have that push button start and the keyless entry and all that. You can pop the trunk. 2 cup holders, semi-soft on the armrest. We lift this up, maybe 2 Twinkies. If you go 3, you're gonna bust cream all over the place in here, and you're not gonna want that because it's gonna be hard to clean. Seats, cloth, but you know what? They're comfortable. There's a little bit of bolstering going on. I like the way they bring some gray to match the door panels, the stitch work. Manual adjustment for the passenger. I actually have electric adjustment for me. Plenty of headroom. And I'm telling you, if you get used to the blind spots in here, it really isn't too bad. But why don't you come over to the business end, because I want to show you behind this leather wrapped steering wheel in our Camaro. All right, guys, business time. Behind the wheel of our triple pedal. The 3 pedals, clutch, brake, and throttle. In this Camaro, you do have the electric assist, like I was telling you about, on the driver's side, which is wonderful at this price point. Steering wheel is pretty much the same exact steering wheel that all the other trims get. Flat bottom, a little bit of plastic, but that's okay at this price point. I do like the Camaro name instead of like a Chevrolet bow tie, gives it that extra touch. The stitch work is beautiful all the way around. A little bit of silver, flat black on the buttons. It is tilting and telescoping. And then the dash, simple and straightforward. You have an analog tach, analog speedometer, fuel gauge, coolant gauge, and then you have that digital display in the center where you could scroll through a ton of information, which makes it really great. I love looking out across the hood and seeing that nice little rise there. We're not gonna do the back seat. We've already done that in other Radies Rise reviews. I'm not even doing the trunk. It's literally 6 cubic feet of space, maybe a loaf of bread. That's all you're gonna get back there. But you know what? We're gonna get to the good stuff. I wanna row through this 6-speed manual. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go on throttle in this Camaro. All right, guys, we left Dimmitt Chevrolet. We're in the 2021 Camaro LS with that turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. I'm in 3rd gear, on throttle. Here we go. Really, really nice for it being. You can feel how much lighter this car is, this Camaro, than any of the other ones, including the V6. So you are going to get that advantage. The boost, you're not waiting a very long time for it. I mean, 275 horsepower out of a 2-liter turbocharged engine is pretty decent nowadays, especially when you're looking at 0 to 60 in about 5 seconds, which is great. Transmission has a great feel, and I really think for somebody who is new to the manual transmission family, first of all, welcome. Second of all, I think you're going to love this gearbox. The clutch is very light, but not too light compared to some of the vehicles that would compete with this one. It's got a good pickup point. That's my favorite part about it. It's not like an on-off switch, which is great. You don't want a clutch like that. Those are very difficult to drive. And this particular one has that ability to where the clutch pickup is really, really good. All right, guys, let's do a little bit of on throttle. 2nd gear, on throttle, here we go. Really, really nice. I mean, you're not waiting. I'm telling you, like I said, you're not waiting for the boost to come around. It actually comes in very low in the torque curve. And what you want to do is you actually want to shift before redline. If you're carrying it all the way to 7,000 RPM, you're actually going to start running out of gas, out of steam when it comes to the overall power delivery. So there's no need to shift at redline in this 2-liter turbo. And I know you're probably saying to yourself, well, Joe, that didn't really sound impressive. It didn't seem impressive. Back in 1986, I had a Chevy Camaro Berlinetta with a V6. Well, guess what? Your Chevy Camaro Berlinetta, believe it or not, even though I had a V6, did 0 to 60 in 10 seconds. So this is twice as fast as your Camaro from 1986. Those are the types of changes that they made with the technology. But I'm telling you, driving it on a regular daily basis, I could see this being so easy. You just got to be a little bit more mindful of the blind spots, but that is something that just comes with the territory if you want a new Camaro. I mean, we keep talking about it, we keep beating a dead horse, but it kind of basically is what it is when it comes to the overall setup in here. But let's do another on throttle acceleration here. On throttle, here we go. So very, very smooth. I'm really loving the gearbox. That's probably my favorite thing in this Camaro LS. And like I said, it's a Tremec, so it's a great brand. Going down the road, you have a nice, comfortable riding experience because of those 50 series sidewalls. I do have it in sport mode. You got the 3 different modes: Sport, Tour, and Snow. I do have it in sport mode. That's going to adjust the parameters of the throttle, sensitivity, the steering, and I really do like the weight of the steering. And the steering wheel itself is fantastic. All right, guys, once again, let's do some on throttle. On throttle, here we go. Getting out onto the highway, what's nice is that even though you do have the smaller engine, you have plenty of power to get up to speed. And with this vehicle, like I said, competing with the Honda Civic Si, competing with the Hyundai Veloster Turbo at this price point, there's not a lot of options if you want a manual transmission car and you want something that's fun to drive and has power to get out of its own way. That's the nice thing about this. And like I said earlier, comparing this to even a 1969 Z28 Camaro, this car is faster. So you're definitely going to be able to take advantage of that and keep it at a great affordable price point. Everything in here is well laid out. It's just the blind spots, but like I said, if you just move your head around, use your mirrors, it's really not that big of a deal at the end of the day. It's not like the Mustang GT or whatever is just that easy to drive. But getting back onto the highway, here we go, on throttle. It's fun, it's a fun car. You drive a manual transmission, even in traffic with the lighter clutch, this thing would be a piece of cake. And it's just nice to see them offering all of the variety that they do with the whole engine choices that they have. You could go with the 2-liter turbocharged engine, or if you want to step it up to a V6 and just keep growing. You can keep growing with the Camaro, and here's the kicker at the end of the day, they're going to be killing this car off. So it's not like you're going to have many more opportunities to buy a brand new Camaro, especially one at $25,000. But driving down the road on this highway, very, very compliant, very smooth, very comfortable. The seats, even though they're cloth, to be honest with you, half the time the cloth seats are more comfortable than the leather seats. So they're supportive, but they're also very comfortable. And having those 50 series sidewalls, not going to help you too much in the handling department, but definitely when driving down the road, you're going to be getting a more comfortable ride. And there's no other Camaro that's going to get as good MPG return as this particular one. And it is the lightest, hands down, with the manual transmission and the 4-cylinder turbo. But hopefully this gave you a nice overall feel of what this Camaro is all about. Like I was saying, I just love the clutch action in this Tremec. It's it's a sweet transmission. It really is. Easy to heel toe downshift on top of that, which is nice. You don't have automatic rev match downshifting. So if you want to heel toe downshift, you're gonna have to do it the old fashioned way with your own heels and toes. But don't be scared by that. It's actually very easy to do. Very easy to do. Like the steering feel, you got the different modes. I've been having it in sport mode that adjusts how the steering wheel weight, the steering sensation, throttle sensation, how it all comes together. It's real easy to just adjust. You could go from tour, you could go to snow, you got your rear wheel drive setup, which is great, and you got the same exact steering wheel, like I said, as every other Camaro, which is wonderful. So you don't have to feel like you're in a lesser Camaro when it comes to the interior, but easy to pull away from a stop. Nice shifts. I'm telling you, this transmission is really a lot of fun to drive. But we're gonna go ahead, get back to Dimmitt Chevrolet and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, been another great day here at Dimmitt Chevrolet. Definitely gotta thank Raheel, Eli, and the rest of the crew getting us this 2021 Camaro LS with a Tremec 6-speed manual. You know what? If you look at this price point, remember we talked about the Honda Civic Si, maybe a Hyundai Veloster Turbo. That's the competition that you're looking at. When you look at this particular vehicle, even though it's at the bottom of the food chain for the Camaro, that entryway, you're still getting a lot more performance for your hard-earned money. And I really don't know, for a brand new car at $25,000, this may be the one. But if you want to keep seeing these vehicles where we talk about fully loaded, we talk about massive horsepower, but we also talk about where do you start at. If you want to keep seeing those, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Radius Rise family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you in the channel, click the link in the description. Get yourself some Radius Rise merch. Got to give it to the queen of the camera. She's out here like a champ. She is solid as a rock. Thank you, Lori, for all your hard work. Show her some love in the comment section. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.